She says that she watched helplessly as the water swept him away. And tonight, the mother of a man who died during last week's flash flooding in Johnson County is talking about her heartbreaking loss.
22-year-old Richard Blair was one of the 4 people who lost their lives. He and his family were inside their home when it flooded and was pushed off its foundation last Monday. Monique Blair is at the live desk with our top story at 11. Monique?
Amber, 1 week ago today was the last time Heather Blair saw her 22-year-old son Richard as her house floated away in the tragic Johnson County flood. Tonight she is taking us back to that horrific afternoon.
Losing a child is a whole nother level of pain. Like, I can't even describe it. I can't even, it just, you feel like you're dying.
Heather Blair says she and her 3 sons, Heath, Tyler, and Richard, were inside this white home on McKenzie Branch when it began to float off its foundation and water poured into the home.
Next thing I know, the walls just started coming in. The ceiling started falling in.
Blair's 22-year-old son Richard had cerebral palsy. She says she tried everything she could to save her oldest son from the water as it was moving quickly.
And I just remember hollering, you know, Richard, mommy's trying to get you, Richard, I'm trying to get you. And all I could see was his face, you know, his face was still above water.
But then Blair says she was sucked underwater again, and when she came up, she clung to a tree and looked around for her son, but she couldn't see him.
I knew right then.
Richard's body was found 2 days later. Blair says through the chaos, she was also fearing for her 2 younger sons.
I just remember I just looked up and I said, God, please, don't take 2 of my babies.
Blair and her 2 other sons made it through the flooding safely. Now Blair says she is relying on her faith to help her cope.
It was God day. It was Richard's time to go home, I think, and maybe a couple of the others too.
Now Heather and her 2 younger sons have been living in a hotel ever since they lost their home. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.